Hey friends, the subject of today's video is entitled, Don't Shoot the Canary. First of all, what's a canary? Well, unless you live under a rock, you probably know that canaries are birds. One thing you might not be aware of, but probably are aware of, is that canaries used to be used in the old times for miners. Miners would take a canary down in a cage with them. If the canary died, they needed to get the hizzy out of that cave so that they stayed alive themselves because of the air becoming toxic. Well, the fact of the matter is, friends, and if you're watching this, you probably are already aware, just in case you aren't, there are a lot of human canaries today. Our world today is incredibly toxic. Our food is filled with toxins. Our pharmaceuticals are, quote, medicine. That's also filled with toxins. Plastics, toxic. That's not to say I don't have some plastic in my house. I do. The air we breathe, toxic. Our water, toxic. Our furniture, toxic. The clothing that we wear, toxic. Our beauty products. It goes on and on and on, friends. And that doesn't even address the toxicity of electromagnetic fields. Nor does it address natural rubber latex, which just because it's natural doesn't mean it's safe. There are a number of things that are natural that are not safe, that are in fact toxic. Just because it's natural doesn't mean it's safe, okay? I was not a human canary to my knowledge until rather recently. It was about 2000, actually it was exactly 2012 when my life came crashing down. I had already been relatively sick since I was about 13. When I was 14, I was finally diagnosed with fibromyalgia. However, in retrospect, my sickness and symptoms that were diagnosed as fibromyalgia occurred directly after the installation of new carpet in my parents' home. And as an avid book reader, I laid on the floor and read and breathed in those fumes while working on my homework and reading books. So that was one of the triggers. There are more than just that, of course. But in 2012, that was when in February I began living in the bathroom. I lived in the bathroom through August, went to Mayo Clinic, went to countless tests, countless doctors, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. Carried a bucket around with me if I left the bathroom and wore an adult diaper. I was only 30, 38 today. Well, not today, but right now I am 38. And to say the least, that was a difficult period of time. In September of that year, I came home from Mayo Clinic. We were there for 2 weeks, and I had my first airborne anaphylactic reaction to natural rubber latex. It was to a rubber hose across the room, brand new for a garden sprayer that my husband had purchased for our organic garden. And after that, things just continued to crumble apart. None of the doctors recognized that I was in gastrointestinal anaphylaxis that entire time, from February to September. I had already been diagnosed with a type 4 latex allergy. I was told avoid condoms, or latex condoms, and avoid latex gloves. And I was told to put it on my medical record. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Lots of people have a latex allergy. It's nothing to worry about. Nobody told me that it would get worse if I didn't avoid it. Nobody told me that. Well, it did get worse, friends. And in 2012, late 2012, I ended up reacting to all soap, all shampoo, all personal care products, minus, I think there was one makeup that I was able to wear at the time. I ended up using baking soda and lemon juice to shower with for a few years, and everything toxic, couldn't tolerate it anymore, except for EMFs. I was still around EMFs and Wi-Fi, using cell phones at that time. Didn't know any better. You never know until you have to know sometimes, and hopefully my hard lessons will help you. That's my hope. But as far as the canary part goes, well, I'm a canary in a coal mine. This world is toxic, as we've already discussed, and I react to toxins. I react violently to toxins. And you might think that this is a really rare issue and not many people have this problem, so it's not really something we need to worry about. Well, the fact of the matter is that a lot of people do have issues, and more people are recognizing and correlating their symptoms to exposure to toxic substances. The most common recent development as far as that goes is the more public recognition of the number of toxins that are in fragrance. Now, some Canadian studies and surveys have found that 25 to 40% of Canadians are reporting themselves as sensitive to fragrance. And quite frankly, even if it's just 25%, that's a big chunk of society, friends. That's a lot of people. Fragrance can contain, I think it's 2,000 different chemicals, if I remember correctly. I apologize. It's been a while since I looked at that information. Try to retain everything I possibly can, but I just don't remember that number right now. So the thing is that some people will hear this and they will be upset. It's not my fault this stuff is toxic. I didn't make it toxic. I didn't do it. I mean, some people get really angry or defensive. I don't know why. I mean, it's not my fault. I'm not the chemical giants that are lying to you and poisoning you intentionally and knowingly, am I? Am I doing that? No, of course not. So don't shoot the canary, friends. Don't shoot the canary. I mean, I'm not personally being attacked here, obviously, and even if I were, you know what? I love you haters. You know you made it big time if you've got haters, right? Well, you know, it really doesn't matter at all whether someone believes you or not. The facts are what they are. I didn't make toxic chemicals toxic. I'm not the one doing this. So when someone tells you that they're sensitive to formaldehyde, that they can't tolerate chlorine, that they can only drink certain types of water, or that they really need you to turn your cell phone off, it's not because they want to inconvenience you. That's quite frankly the last thing we canaries want to do. We just want to be safe. We want to be healthy. And we also want you to be healthy too. There are a lot of us out there, friends. There are more people than you realize. Together, our voices are strong. They're loud. People are starting to listen. Will you listen? If you're not one of us canaries, will you listen? Will you heed our warning cry? Will you? We hope you do before it's too late. Thanks so much for tuning in today, friends. I hope you have a blessed day. Be sure to like, subscribe, sign up for our weekly newsletter. I'll try to keep more videos coming at you as quickly as I possibly can.